Hello, students. This is Sandeep Kumar Singh. I hope you all are doing well. Okay. So today I am going to explain fourth chapter from Beehive book of class 9th standard CBSE. Okay. And the name of the chapter is A Truly Beautiful Mind. Okay, students. So this chapter is about Albert Einstein. He was a great scientist. The title of the chapter, A Truly Beautiful Mind, refers to Albert Einstein. This is a short biography of his where some of his qualities have been highlighted. Okay, and Albert's interest in mathematics, physics, and also his humanitarian attribute. Okay, the title A Truly Beautiful Mind makes one wonder that how can a scientist's mind be beautiful. Okay, it is so because in this lesson we come across another aspect of Einstein. He was a humanitarian. He advocated world peace, non-violence, and that is why the title refers to him as a truly beautiful mind. Okay, students. So now let us see the chapter line by line. Albert Einstein was born on 14th March 1879 in the German city of Ulm without any indication that he was destined for greatness. Okay, so he was born on 14th March in 1879 in the German city. Okay, on the contrary, his mother thought Albert was a freak. To her, his head seemed much too large. Okay, here freak means freak means actually a word used disapprovingly to talk about a person who is unusual and does not behave or look or think like others. Okay, so what we can say, something special, something different. Okay, not just like the other. He looks so. Okay, so that is why his mother thought him to be a freak. At the age of 2.5, Einstein still was not talking. Okay, and when he attained the age of 2.5 years, but at that age also he was not talking. So when he finally did learn to speak, he uttered everything twice. And when he started talking, so he used to repeat every sentence, every word. Okay, he used to speak everything twice. Einstein did not know what to do with other children, and his playmates called him brother boring. Okay, so the youngster played by himself. So actually his friends, actually he don't know that how to behave with the friends, how to talk with the friends. Okay, so that is why his friends used to call him brother boring. Okay, so the youngster played by himself. So that is why he used to keep himself busy with himself only. Okay, he don't used to get mixed up with the other friends. Okay, with the other students, with other people. Okay, so much of the time he especially loved mechanical toys. Okay, and he was fond of mechanical toys. Looking at his newborn sister Maza, he is said to have said, "Fine, but where are her wheels?" Okay, and that means he especially loved mechanical toys. He was fond of mechanical toys, so he used to look everything as mechanical things. So when he was looking at his newborn sister, whose name was Maza, so he said, okay, that where is her wheels? Okay, that means how she will move from one place to another. Okay, so it seems that he is taking her sister as if some mechanical toys. Okay, a headmaster once told his father that what Einstein chose as a profession would not matter, because he will never make a success at anything. And you see, this is the remark of his headmaster. He had already told, okay, his parents that whatever profession he is going to choose, but it is damn sure that he is not going to become successful, okay, in any field. Because he said that he will never make a success at anything, Einstein began learning to play the violin at the age of 6, okay, because his mother wanted him to, and he later became a gifted amateur violinist, okay, maintaining this skill throughout his life. So his mother actually wanted him to learn violin, and he started also learning at the age of 6, okay, and later on he became a amateur. Okay, amateur means what? Doing something for personal enjoyment rather than as a profession. So he became an amateur violinist also. Okay, but Albert Einstein was not a bad pupil. Okay, he went to high school in Munich, where Einstein family had moved when he was 15 months old. Okay, and scored good marks in almost every subject. Okay, so Einstein hated the school's regimentation. Okay, regimentation means what? That is the order or discipline taken to an extreme. That means when you might have seen that. Okay, he don't like discipline. Actually, we can say very hard discipline. Okay, very strict discipline. He don't like. He want to be free. Okay, so that is why it has been said here. And scored good marks on almost every subject. Einstein hated the school's regimentation, that is strict rules, okay, and often clashed with his teachers, okay, and often he used to clash with his teacher with the matter related to what? Discipline. Actually, he don't want to follow that much strict discipline. So at the age of 15, Einstein felt so stiffed, okay, so stiffed there that he left the school for good. And ultimately, you see, okay, he got fed up. Okay, actually he don't want it. Okay, actually he does not want to follow the what we can say this strict discipline. So that is why ultimately he decided to quit the school, and he left the school for his good. That means for his enjoyment, what we can say, for his free time. The previous year, Albert's parent had moved to Milan, okay, and left their son with relative. So in the previous year, his parents had moved to a place called Milan, and they had left their son, okay, with the relative. After prolonged discussion, Einstein got his wish to continue his education in German-speaking Switzerland, in a city which was more liberal than Munich. Okay, and later on it was decided that he will take his education, okay, in what we can say in German-speaking Switzerland only. Okay, in Switzerland, in a city which was more liberal. Why do you know why they have decided that he will be taking his education in Switzerland? Because that city was what we can say a kind of liberal, okay, than the Munich. In Munich, what? The discipline was too tough, too strict. But in Switzerland, okay, the discipline was very liberal, okay, very free. So that is why they decided that it will be better for him to study there. Okay, so Einstein was highly gifted in mathematics and interested in physics, and after finishing school he decided to study at a university in Zurich. Okay, he was so gifted, what we can say, in the field of mathematics and physics. And later what happened? After finishing his school life, he decided to study at a university of Zurich. But science was not the only thing that appealed to the dashing young man with the wireless mustache. Okay, actually what happened? Not only the science, okay, in which he was having his what we can say interest. Okay, so besides science also, you see, okay, in which that dashing personality was having his interest, he also felt a special interest in a fellow student. Okay, in a fellow student, that is Mileva Maric. One student was there, okay, and her name was Mileva Maric. So besides his studies, besides his interest in science, okay, he was also interested, okay, in his fellow students. And one girl was there, her name was Mileva Merrick, whom he found to be a clever creature. And he found that definitely that girl, Mileva Merrick, was really a very clever, okay, very talented girl. This young Serb had come to Switzerland because the university in Zurich was one of the few in Europe where women could get degrees, okay, and that girl had came there, because actually at her places universities were not there mainly for attaining degree, so that is why she also came to Switzerland, okay. Einstein saw in her an ally against the, what we can say, Philistines, okay. Ally means what? A friend, associate. So Einstein had observed a kind of thing in her, and what is that? A type of friendship, okay, which he wanted to do friendship with that girl, okay, and that is why he had seen a kind of ally, that means friendship, okay, in that girl. And Philistine means what? That is actually used disapprovingly to talk about people who do not like art, literature, or music. So you see, Einstein saw in her an ally against the Philistines, those people in his family and at the university with whom he was constantly at odds, okay. And that is why constantly he always kept to be along with that girl, okay, along with her, because he had seen a kind of, what we can say, friendship in her, okay, and that is why he decided to make friend, okay. The couple fell in love, and ultimately, here the Einstein and that girl, okay, ultimately both of them fell in love. Letters survived in which they put their affection into words, and they started sharing letters, okay, in which they used to write their own feelings, okay, mixing science with tenderness. And the letter which they used to write, in that letter they used to write about the scientific things, along with by mixing their, what we can say, their affection, their tenderness, their feelings, okay. Wrote Einstein, you see what Einstein had wrote: how happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work on relatively to a victorious conclusion. See what he had written, that how happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work, okay, both of them have brought our work on relatively to a victorious conclusion. That means he had written that whatever the project in which we are dealing with, okay, if that project comes out as a joint venture, okay, by working both of them together, so really it will be victorious, okay. In 1900, at the age of 21, Albert Einstein was a university graduate, okay. In 1900 he became university graduate and unemployed. He was not having any job, okay. So he worked as a teaching assistant, okay, and gave private lessons, and finally secured a job in 1902 as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. So earlier, before getting job, he used to what we can say, teach, okay, in some private, okay, institutes, and later on he got the job, okay, and he became a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. While he was supposed to be assessing other people's invention, okay, Einstein was actually developing his own ideas in secret. So his job was, to assess the other people's invention, okay, and while assessing the other people's invention, okay, secretly, he was trying to develop a kind of his own ideas, okay, very secretly. From that very works, he used to draw a kind of own ideas. So he is said to have jokingly called his desk drawer, okay, his desk drawer at work, the Bureau of Theoretical Physics, okay. So jokingly it has been said, okay, him as a what? Desk drawer, okay. Why desk drawer? Because he used to collect what, the ideas, okay, from that very invention, from that very project. He used to collect ideas and which he used to keep for himself as a very secret manner. Okay. So one of the famous paper of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity. Okay, you might have been in the science. So according to which time and distance are not absolute. Okay, absolute means what? Measured in itself, not in relation to anything else. Okay, so one of the famous paper of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolute. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey, if one of them has been moving very fast relative to the other. Okay, so from this followed the world's most famous formula, which describes the relationship between mass and energy, which is called E is equal to mc square. Okay, so while Einstein was solving the most difficult problems in physics, his private life was unraveling. Unraveling means what? Starting to fail. Okay, that means while he was trying to solve the most difficult problems in the physics, his private life which he was having, okay, with that girl, that started falling down. Okay, his private life is, okay, becoming weaker. So Albert had wanted to marry Mileva right after finishing his studies, and he decided that after finishing his studies he's going to marry what? Mileva, okay, that girl. But his mother was against it. But his mother was not supporting the very marriage. Okay, his mother was against that marriage which he's supposed to do. Okay, so he thought Mileva, who was 3 years older than her son. And why her mother was against? Because she thought that Mileva, actually she was a senior. Okay, she was 3 years older than her son, than the Einstein, so was too old for him. And she was also bothered by Mileva's intelligence. Okay, she is a book like you. His mother said Einstein put the wedding off. So this is the reason why his mother was against the marriage, because one thing is that Mileva was 3 years older than the Einstein, and second thing is that she is what we can say, a type of bookworm. Okay, she also keeps on studying. She is very intelligent. She always keep herself busy in the studies. So that is why she was against that marriage. Okay, the pair finally married in January 1903. But that pair, Einstein and Mileva, they got married in the month of January 1903 and had 2 sons, and they had 2 sons also. But a few years later the marriage faltered. But after few years, okay, what we can say, a kind of gap came out, okay, in their marriage. Okay, and Mileva meanwhile was losing her intellectual ambition and becoming an unhappy housewife. And that means when they had 2 children, so Mileva meanwhile, she was losing her intellectual ambition. That means she was not getting time, okay, to give in her professional life, and slowly she was converting that means she's turning herself to be a housewife. So after years of constant fighting, the couple finally divorced in 1909. Okay, and ultimately what happened, the bonding between them started becoming weaker and weaker day by day. Okay, and it is mainly due to their professional life. So ultimately both of them, okay, they got divorced in 1909. Einstein married his cousin Elsa the same year, and again in the same year, okay, after when he got divorced, okay, he married his cousin Elsa. Einstein's new personal chapter coincided with his rise to world fame. Okay, and his personal, that means new personal chapter coincided with his rise to world fame. In 1915, he had published his general theory of relativity, which provided a new interpretation of gravity. Okay, an eclipse of the sun in 1919 brought proof that it was accurate. Okay, and Einstein had correctly calculated in advance the extent to which the light from fixed star would be deflected to the sun's gravitational field. Okay, and the newspapers proclaimed his work as a scientific revolution, and really that was a scientific revolution in the field of physics. Okay, Einstein received the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. He was served with honors and invitations from all over the world, okay, because he became too famous due to his relative theory and lauded by the press. Okay, when the Nazis came to power in Germany in 1933, okay, you might have seen in the history, Einstein immigrated means he shifted himself to the United States. 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin had American physics in an uproar. Uproar means what? Very upset. He became so upset, okay, due to that what? You have seen here that 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin had American physics in an uproar. They became too upset, okay, and many of them had fled from fascism, just as Einstein had. Okay, as Einstein had shifted himself, okay, into US, in the same way other people also they have shifted from the Germany, okay, and now they were afraid the Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. It is why, because now they thought that Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. So at the urging of a collegium, okay, Einstein wrote a letter to the American president. At the time, Einstein wrote a letter to the American president Franklin D. Roosevelt on 2nd August 1939, in which he warned, see what he had written. He had warned that a single bomb of this type, okay, exploded in a port might very well destroy the whole port together with some of the surrounding territories, okay, and his words did not fail to have an effect. The Americans developed the atomic bomb in a secret project of their own, okay, and after writing his letter also, still Americans have developed atom bomb in their secret project and dropped it on the Japanese city of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. Okay, Einstein was deeply shaken, okay, deeply shaken by the extent of the destruction which was caused after dropping the atom bomb in Japan, in Hiroshima, in Nagasaki. Really, Einstein, he was shaken very deeply, okay. He became too sad. This time he wrote a public missive. Okay, missive means what? That means a letter, especially long in the long form. That is the official letter, that is called missive. So this time he wrote public missive to the United Nations, and in it he proposed the formation of a world government. Okay, and in that letter he proposed that yes, one world government should be formed. Unlike the letter to Roosevelt, this one made no impact. And again, this letter also, as earlier he had written letter to the Franklin D. Roosevelt, but no impact, no result came. Similarly, this time also he had written one letter to form what? That is world government, but this letter was also having no impact, no result. But over the next decade, Einstein got ever more involved in politics, but slowly and slowly, okay, he started entering into the field of politics, because he thought that without entering in the politics, okay, I cannot do anything in the field of politics. So agitating for an end to the arms build-up, okay, and using his popularity to campaign for peace and democracy. And after entering into the field of politics, he started agitation, he started protesting against the what? Arm build-up, as different countries are building up arms, isn't it? That means nuclear weapons. So he was really against that, and instead he started campaign for what? Peace, that is world peace and democracy. When Einstein died in 1955 at the age of 76, Okay, he was celebrated as a visionary. Okay, visionary means what? A person who can think about the future in an original and intelligent way. Okay, so when Einstein died in 1955 at the age of 76, he was celebrated as a visionary and world citizen as much as scientific genius. Okay, so in this what we can say chapter, you have seen that Einstein was considered not only as a citizen of a particular country, but he was considered as a what? Citizen of the whole world. Why do you know? Because he always what? He always demanded, okay, world peace. Okay, instead of threat. Okay, and what we can say, building up of this nuclear weapon, he was against all these things, and he always fought for the democracy and the world peace. And that is why it has been given that yes, he was that is, besides being a what we can say scientist, having a good knowledge in the field of physics and mathematics, he was also a very good humanitarian. Okay, very good human being. He always fought. Okay, he has always what we can say done campaign for the world peace and democracy. So I hope you have understood this chapter. Okay, so if you like my videos, please do subscribe to my channel. Okay, and if you have any queries or question, feel free to post in the comment section. Okay, thank you.